NFL playoffs, every game on the board. We're breaking both down AFC, NFC, Saturday, Sunday's games with Minty Bets. Follow her on Twitter at Minty Bets. Minty, welcome to the pod. How are you?
I'm good, Drew. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. The first podcast of the new year. So 2020. Minty, you're the first.
Awesome. Beautiful. I love it.
All right. So let's get to, I believe your favorite sport, the NFL. It's playoff time, wild card weekend, and we'll break down all the games, all four of them here real quick. We got the afternoon kick on Saturday, Buffalo versus Houston. Looks like Houston -2 in the hook at home, pretty much across the board right now. Some of them showing juice on that number, so it's inching towards Houston -3. But as we're talking right now, Thursday afternoon, it's the Texans -2.5, 44 being the total here, Minty. What are you thinking in the first wildcard weekend playoff game?
I love this game. The Texans are healthy for the most part. They might still be missing Will Fuller, but Kenny Stills and DeAndre Hopkins are still there and effective for sure. But I cannot trust the Texans or Bill O'Brien. The Texans are 1-5 against the spread when favored at home. As for the Bills, are 1-1 against the spread as road dogs. So this season, the Texans really haven't won by a landslide against anyone except for Jacksonville and Atlanta. Okay. But those teams don't count because they suck and they're irrelevant. So other than those two games, Houston's margin of victory has been no more than 7 points. So that's really close. And giving 3 points is risky. I really like the Bills here, and I actually bet them at +3. Houston will try to establish a ground game early on, but the Bills' defense is fierce. So they're allowing an average of 195 passing yards a game and 103 rushing yards a game and 16 points per game, which is second in the league. So I wouldn't be surprised if this goes under. I think it opened up at 42, and now it's climbing up to 44. So it seems like people are liking the over. Again, I like the Bills. I think their defense dominates the Texans' offense, and I like the under as well.
Okay, so liking the under, and the movement is towards the over here, guys. 41.5 was the opener, and we're seeing, I'm looking at Sports Memo odds right now, as high as 44.5. So a 3-point move towards the over. And Minty, you said you got Buffalo plus the 3. It's at 2.5 right now. When did you jump on that 3?
Like 2 days ago. Okay. It just moved, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So, got a good number there at 3 and possibly a best bet on the podcast. I guess we can shore that up at the end after the last 3 games. But we got the night game on Saturday night, marquee matchup here, Tennessee at New England. Got the Patriots -5 right now. There are a couple 4.5s out there in the marketplace. That's the Patriots laying at home to the Tennessee Titans. We got 44.5 being the total here, Minty. This is the Saturday night game on Wild Card Weekend. This is my favorite kind of time slot game. A singled out night game on the East Coast and good time there on the Pacific Coast. But we got Tennessee at New England. A lot of people with different opinions here, Minty, on the Patriots. Is their run over? Every time we've thought about this in the past, it hasn't been. I'm of the camp, Minty, where I'm not looking to bet against Brady and Belichick, at home in January off of a loss. I like the Pats here, but I don't know. I'll throw it over to you. What are you thinking here?
Really? I like the Titans. I mean, this is the first time in a decade that they're going into the playoffs. The Pats are going into the playoffs without a bye. And I'm not surprised. The Patriots have a great defense statistically, but those numbers reflect teams with losing records, who they played: the Redskins, the Dolphins, Bengals, Jets, Browns, Giants. In New England's last 5 games alone, they've allowed an average of 21 points per game from their opponents. And in my opinion, they've kind of been tumbling downhill this last half of the season. Julian Edelman isn't 100% healthy, and Tom Brady's arm has been irritating him. I say the Titans have a better rushing offense here solely because of Derrick Henry. He's recorded over 1,500 rushing yards per game, or rushing yards, I should say, and 16 touchdowns. I know Foxborough is a tough place to play, but Mike Vrabel is familiar with the Patriots. And I think they're going to have a few tricks up their sleeve, and I think the Titans can play it close. I don't know if they win and upset the Pats here, but I think they keep it close. And I kind of have something that I heard on the radio. Starting quarterbacks in their first playoff game, they're 12-30 12-30-1 against the spread, something like that. But the starting quarterbacks in their first playoff game are Ryan Tannehill and Josh Allen, and I'm backing both of them up. So a little nervous here, but I really, really like the Titans, and I really like the Bills in the earlier game.
That is a great stat, Minty. And what was that again? First time starting quarterbacks in the NFL playoffs are 12 and 30 ATS?
Yeah. I think 12-30-1 ATS, yeah.
Okay, man, great stat there. Minty.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so
or maybe it's 12-31, I don't know.
Yeah, and going up against that trend with, I guess, the first two games that we've gone here, you're kind of like in the away team with the first-year starting quarterback. And you say, that it kind of makes you look to pump the brakes here, but it's not enough to pump the brakes to not bet on these two teams, is it?
Right. It's just too juicy. I really, really like the other side here, so I have to back it up. And I feel like, like I said, I don't think the Patriots are what they were, so I think that the Titans get this here.
No, great stuff, Minty. So that's what makes a marketplace. Looks like we're on the different side of that game. But the Buffalo game, I'm with you. I'm looking for ways. I didn't get on the 3. And, of course, 2.5 to 3, as a lot of the watchers of the podcast know. 3, the key number in the NFL. There are other key numbers, but right there around that 3 number, that's where it lands most likely in the NFL. So 2.5 to 3 to 3.5. And sitting there at just 2.5 for Buffalo right now. I'm going to wait until I can see a Bills +3 like you got, Minty. We also got so hopefully we can be on the same side there. But Sunday, January 5th game, Minty, we got the 1 o'clock Eastern kick here. NFC game, we got Minnesota at your New Orleans Saints in the Big Easy. We're seeing the Saints -7.5 or -8 at home. 49 the total here, Minty.
Okay, so I lean the Saints here. Duh. They're a much better team compared to the Vikings. The Saints have a top 10 defense, a top 3 scoring offense at 28 points per game, and arguably one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos in the league. This game is going to be played at the Superdome, and Drew Brees is amazing at the Superdome. He's thrown 17 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. He's completed 77.5% of his passes, and he's thrown for an average of 332 passing yards per game in the Superdome compared to 196 on the road. Last time the Vikings won a playoff game on the road was in 2005 against Green Bay. The Vikings are 3-6-1 against the spread as dogs their last 10 road games. And Minnesota has the 3rd or 4th highest run play percentage, but struggled once Dalvin Cook got injured. And New Orleans is allowing an average of 91 rushing yards per game from their opponents. Kirk Cousins struggles when under pressure, and playing in the Dome with Cam Jordan on the other side of him is going to be difficult for him, I think. I know Coach Zimmer is one of the best ATS coaches out there, but I really like the Saints here. Not sure if I'll bet it because 7.5 just doesn't seem like a worth it number to me. But yeah, I lean the Saints. Not going to bet it though.
Okay, leaning the Saints at home. Not a bet as of yet. 7.5 or 8 looks to be that number. And Minty, going on, I guess to back your first two opinions on Tennessee and Buffalo. Road dogs finished the NFL season 87-60. That's 59% against the spread. So those are two trends to kind of point towards Buffalo and Tennessee. Of course, your number that you just threw out on the podcast, 12-30-1 against the spread for first-year starting NFL playoff quarterbacks. Two big trends kind of going against each other there, Minty.
Yeah, so I guess kind of pick and choose which one you want to back up.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to Jared Smith on Twitter for that stat in terms of the ATS number, 87-60 ATS for the road underdogs this year in the NFL. We got the last game here. We got Seattle and Philadelphia, just 4 games on the podcast, so a quick one here, Minty. And guys, did want to throw out the special coupon code before we get to it. Minty15, that's MINTY. 15 at checkout. Minty15 will take $15 off any play, any package, 3-day, 7-day, full season package at sportsmemo.com. $15 off and any daily play using the coupon code Minty15. It's unlimited use through Sunday. Any handicapper, any sport, any play, sportsmemo.com. Minty15 at checkout will take $15 off the retail price at sportsmemo.com. sportsmemo-podcast.com. We got the last game here, Minty. 4:40 expected kickoff Eastern time. 1:40 Pacific, Seattle at Philadelphia. This is rotation number 147, 148. We're seeing the Seahawks now taking a lot of money here, Minty. This is a big move in terms of wild card weekend, the biggest move in terms of side movement here from the sports books. We got -2 or -1.5 right now as we're speaking. That's the Seahawks laying on the road, 45.5 the total. And of course, this one, depending what opener you want to go off of, pick'em or -1 for the Eagles. Now we're seeing it switch favorites here towards Seattle on the road here. Minty, do you agree with that move? Do you think Seattle's the side?
I do lean Seattle because I don't think the Eagles are anything special this season. And of course, like, both teams have a ton of injuries. They're both very banged up. So that's why I am not touching this game. As we know, Seattle's got Marshawn Lynch back since Chris Carson and Rashad Penny are done for the season. But I don't know. Philly's rushing defense is one of the best in the league, allowing an average of 90 rushing yards per game. Seattle's really going to have to focus on their passing game. We know Russell Wilson is a great quarterback, but it seems like he's in trouble a lot of the time. His O-line cannot protect him very well. And I had to look this up on 4 different websites, but he's gotten sacked 48 times this season. Wow. He's tied at number 1 along with Kyler Murray and Matt Ryan. Russell Wilson's completion percentage is super inconsistent. In his last 5 games, he's averaged about 62%. Like I said, I do lean Seattle, but this one is really tough just because everyone's so injured. And I don't know if I don't really feel confident in Seattle getting it together by the game time. Okay. By game time.
So not like in the road favorite as much here in Seattle. You just kind of lean Seattle in this one, but no bet as of right now.
Yeah, no bet for me. I am leaning Seattle. How about you, Drew? What do you feel in this game?
I like Seattle here. I really do. I mean, we talked with Teddy Covers on the Monday opening line report, Minty, and he brought up a great stat in terms of strength of schedule in the playoffs and how much it's mattered against the spread over the last 20 years. The last couple years hasn't been as strong, although over the 52.38% mark, making it a profitable trend. And that is the team with the tougher strength of schedule, as long as there's 10 spots in between them. So like the 22 ranked and the 12th ranked, that would then qualify. If the tougher strength of schedule team has covered at a very high rate. So that's Seattle being, I believe, the number 1 strength of schedule this year in the NFL, going up against Philadelphia, which is the worst strength of schedule. Yeah. So it's the biggest discrepancy there possibly could be for wild card weekend. And we got it here with Seattle, Philadelphia. I think that's a trend that you really got to focus on, Minty. So that's why I bet the Seahawks.
You bet it already.
Yeah.
What did you get it at -1.5, or did you take him earlier?
Yes, I got it -1.5. So unfortunately, I didn't jump on it at the opener, but as long as it doesn't land on 1, I should be good, Minty.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. That's actually really interesting to know. I always strength of schedule is usually like the last thing I check, but it should be one of the first because that really, really matters. That's a really good trend right there.
Yeah. Shout out to Teddy Covers on that. The NFL opening line report. Yeah, for sure. Each and every Monday here. We'll do it throughout the Super Bowl and throughout the Super Bowl in the NFL playoffs. So, Minty, that's all 4 games. And like we said in the beginning, we got throw it back to you for best bet. I know you were really liking Buffalo plus the 3. Are you going to make that your best bet?
I think I am. I really like that. And you know what? If that best bet fails, I've got 3 other games to go and make that one my lock of the day,
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Just kidding. Yeah.
Jump back on it. We know how that goes.
Yeah.
Chase, there are definitely watchers out there, and heck, including myself sometimes, that will do that method. And there is a +3 out there, guys. It is offshore. Not seeing any 3s right now in Vegas, but of course that can change by kickoff. So look out for that +3 on the Buffalo Bills. We got the coupon code, guys. Minty15 takes $15 off anything site-wide on sportsmemo.com. We have Minty on here, and the coupon code is Minty, MINTY15 at checkout. Follow her on Twitter at MintyBets. She's trending on Twitter. She's growing on Twitter. Great follow on Twitter. And Minty, is there anything else you wanted to throw out?
No, good luck, guys. Happy New Year. And just gamble responsibly.
gamble responsibly. That is a good way to end this, Minty. So thanks for the time, Minty. Best of luck with your bets. Guys out there, thank you for tuning in. Please knock that like button if you can and subscribe on YouTube. We always appreciate that. We will be back tomorrow with the first college basketball podcast of the year. We'll have Robbie Vino breaking down some Saturday college basketball games. So stay tuned to that. sportsmemo.com. Coupon code MINTY15 takes $15 off anything site-wide. We'll be back tomorrow with Robbie Vino, guys. Best of luck with your bets.